serious his victory was presidentially, and then we'll speak to Joshua Alabi, who is his campaign manager, about the size and importance of that victory. That will be our first part. In the second part of the show, we would also look at the parliamentary situation, and then would ask him what this means for the governance approach of the NDC with a 2/3 majority in parliament, and the kind of challenge that John Mahama, the incoming president, faces. All of that and more in the next hour. Stay with us.
Do you want a healthy smile?
Considering oral surgery? Hi, I'm Tanya from Bethel Dental Clinic, Ghana. Whether you need a routine extraction or a complex dental implant procedure, you want a dental team that provides compassionate care with superior outcomes. A thorough diagnosis is the first step, which involves dental x-rays to assess your condition. This ensures that you're fully informed and comfortable with the plan you choose. Understanding what to expect during the recovery period is also important. By following these steps, you'll be well prepared to recover smoothly and avoid complications. Learn more about surgical services and schedule your consultation today. Bethel Dental Clinic, the smile starts here.
Healthy smile.
Imagine walking into a secure environment you call your own, a home where you are in charge of your own security. But while you dream of a brighter future, shadows could be lurking at your doorsteps and windows. With real-time alerts and a professional response team ready to act, your home is protected around the clock, whether you're away or asleep. Don't wait for safety, create it. Installed by professionals, our systems integrate seamlessly into your home, guarding every nook and cranny. And with our rent-to-own plan, this unmatched security comes with no burdensome upfront cost. Enjoy your safety, payment at your own pace, and peace of mind. Plus, our theft guarantee protection ensures you're covered in case of any loss, giving you even more peace of mind. Secure your home with Home Shield. Make peaceful sleep a habit, knowing we stand guard. Response 1, protecting your world 24/7.
So tonight we're doing a 2-in-1 type of show. First, we're going to show you, using the visuals of our work in the team, the extent of John Mahama's victory. This is important because the interview we're about to have with Joshua Alabi will try and explain some of these dynamics. Now, we've put a very simple system in place. For those of you who are more visually inclined, anywhere you see green is a constituency John Mahama won. Anywhere you see blue is a constituency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia won. Okay, so this alone should tell you that this has been a massive victory, but this doesn't tell the story that much. So I will show you what this means when I compare to previous years' elections. There you can see the difference. But to do that, it's important for me to create what I call a heat map. Now, what a heat map does is to show you how serious the victory was. Now, anywhere you see a deep green map or a deep green figure in the map, it tells you that the person who won it by more than 60%. Same for deep blue. All right. So all the places Dr. Bawumia won by more than 60%, you have 2 up there. PPs had 3.59%. Mahama had 44.67%, with a margin of close to a million votes. Right. So Mahama trailed Akufo-Addo by close to 1 million votes. Now, when Mahama won his first victory in 2012, it wasn't such a huge victory. He won with only 325,000 votes, 50%, 47%. We know this already. And in that map, there's a lot of blue here. All right, all the blues here are light blue, but there's a lot of blue in the Bono area and some blue in the western region. Now, 2016 was a very different story, and some of you have been following us, have seen this already. But 2016 had the whole of the middle of Ghana was for MPP, and a lot of the north was also MPP, but all of this is light blue. And even the western enclave was MPP as well. 53, 44, almost 1 million votes. Okay. Now, what has John Mahama done? In 2020, when he tried the presidency for the second time as an opposition leader, 2012 was his first time as president. He lost. He won, all right? He won in 2012 as president. 2016, he was sitting president, and then he lost to Akufo-Addo. So he tried in 2020 as a first-time opposition leader. He closes the 900,000 gap to 500,000. He gets 47%. Akufo-Addo gets 51%. Now, what is interesting is that this whole place is still very blue in the map. There's a lot of blue up there. You can count almost 13. So you can tell the NPP is strong as you get to the north, and the whole middle of the country is deep blue, even in the Bono areas. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 constituencies in the Bono region that Akufo-Addo won by over 60%. And then in the Western Enclave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you expand this to just the Western region, there's a lot of blue there. Okay, so if you take just the Western region, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 constituencies, all won by the NPP in the year 2020. So to come to 2024, 500,000 gap reduces, actually becomes a surplus. So from a deficit of 900,000, 500,000, now he's leading Bawumia by 1.6 million. Now imagine the shift. Very serious indeed. A 2.6 million turnaround in 2 electoral cycles. Very serious. And this is evident here. All the Bono area has gone back to NDC. All the Western region, there's nothing for MPP. So for example, look at Western region. We've shown this before. The same Western region I showed you in 2020. Look at what it's behaving like. There's hardly any blue. The whole thing is gone. The whole region is gone. All right, there's just one Takrady. The whole region is gone. You can do the same for many, many constituencies. When you pick, for example, the Bono region, which is a region that MPP has traditionally won. If you look at Bono region in 2016, look at that. NDC has only 2. This is Doma West, and this is Banda. Everywhere else is for MPP. All of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. German North, German South, Brekum West, Brekum East, Sunyani East and West, Tain, Wenchi, Doma Central, Doma East, all for MPP. All right, this is 2016. The story wasn't that much different in 2020. All right, NDC just wins 3. The same Doma West, and then wins Tain and wins German North. Everything else is MPP. To see how crazy this is, look at 2024. Okay, the whole thing is gone to NDC, and you can do the same for every region. The whole thing. There's only one for MPP. That's Doma East. Everywhere else, Mahama wins. So this is the background with which we intervene. And I'll just show you one final one before we get into the interview proper. The Greater Accra region is a region that Joshua Alabi, my guest, has been chair of NDC for. And he's also been a member of parliament for Krowo in the region. Again, look at the way the region has changed. Start from 2016, a lot of MPP. NDC on the left, 2 NDC on the right, a few in the middle coast. That's 2016. 2020, yes, he makes a comeback, but there's still a sizable blue gash here. A lot of constituencies, Amasaman, Dome Kwabenya, Trobu, Wejagbawe, Anyaso, Tuom, Botian, English, Amanfro, Ablekuma North. All of these places are MPP areas. Now, look at what happened in 2024. It's almost unbelievable, almost unfathomable. Look at that. We are yet to put in Dome Kwabenya, Okankwe Central, and Ablekuma North. But the whole thing, so basically, 31 determined constituencies, MPP wins only 2. This is massive. So when I met Joshua Alabi, I wanted to understand from him his role in the campaign, and I also wanted him to talk to me a bit about the way they won the election and how they were to sweep the whole country. So let's get into the conversation with Joshua Alabi. So tonight my guest is Professor Joshua Alabi. He's done many things in this country. A few people remember him for his role as MP for Krowo between 1997 and 2001, Minister for Greater Accra and Northern Regions. But he's done other things. He's been leading UPSA from 2009 in various capacities till he handed over somewhere in 2016, where he became one of the most transformational leaders for that university. He's also been a vice chair of the NDC. He's led the NDC in the Greater Accra region. But for the 2020 and 2024 campaigns, he was managing the presidential candidates campaign. John Mahama won a sweeping victory, close to 57% of valid votes, to his next rival, the man, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So today we're speaking to Professor Joshua Alabi on how they won and what it means for Ghana for the next 4 years. Prof, thanks for inviting us to your place. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you also for having me.
Have you recovered from the campaign and the victory already?
I'm recovering.
What was the size of the victory shocking to you?
Not too shocking, but even though we knew we were going to win, not at that level, but I think that we're also not shocked because having gone around the country, we had a feel of what was going to happen, and it really happened. Yeah.
How was your campaign? You are the manager of the presidential candidates campaign, but there are other campaigns going on. Just explain to listeners how that works. So you manage Mahama, but there are other people campaigning at the same time?
Yes. We had the campaign team for the flag bearer at that time, who is now the president-elect, and I was managing that. We had a campaign team for the running mate, and then we had a campaign team for the national chairman. We had other campaign teams, the youth organizer, women organizer. It was just spread out. Yeah, so I must say it was well organized, and we achieved the desired result that we expected. Yeah.
He mentioned at a church service yesterday, the president-elect, that the campaign was grueling for a man who has done running mate campaign for males and then president on his own, campaign as candidate another 2 terms. His experience. So for him to describe this as a grueling campaign, can you help us? Is it that this was one of the most thorough in terms of the places you went, the times? How grueling was it?
Yeah, this time we decided to shift from the normal rallies to community engagements, and we also agreed that we should touch base with every constituency. And in some constituency, we had 3 community engagements, some 2, some 1, depending upon how compact the constituency was. So we must admit that starting early in the morning around 9, in most cases, and sometimes coming home around 3, 4, it must be grueling. And waking up the next day around 8, bath, and then you do what you have to do, and then you're on the campaign trail around 9 o'clock. It was quite grueling, but we were determined, and the fact that we realized that the people were ready for us, that also kept us going.
Some people think every 8 years people get tired of the sitting government, so it has nothing really to do with the attractiveness of the NDC or President Mahama for that matter. People were just tired and wanted a change. How much of this victory do you attribute to what NDC was proposing versus people just being tired of MPP?
Yeah. Then let's go back to the 2020, the campaign that I also managed. After the 2020 election, personally, I knew 2024 we were going to make it. I knew. But then, of course, you must work. The 2020, we started with the registration, and I don't know how you saw it, but a lot of our strongholds, there was a lot of suppression. The voter registration, especially places like the Volta region, then the hinterlands, where the belief at that time was that any northern name in the hinterland was a foreigner. So there was a lot of suppression. That was one. And then we had COVID where we were all made to sleep. But as the government of the day, they were working. And once they were working, they were campaigning as well. And like they had money from outside, and from what we heard, the money was shared. So they were campaigning. So when we were released to campaign around somewhere in July 2020, we had a very short time to plan everything. So I must admit that 2020, a week to the election itself, we've not had a full complement of our agents in the Ashanti region, left alone to train them, and also to train ourselves as to how we're going to block any possible staffing of what they call it, votes. So we entered the 2020 election with some handicap. I quite remember what we heard was that there are candidates in Northeast, for example, in 2020, each candidate received a minimum of 1.5 million or close to 2 million to campaign. We gave our candidates 15,000 Ghana cedis to fight the same battle. Yeah.
This is 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years
15,000
ago. 15,000 cedis. Yeah. That was the money we had, and we were locked in our rooms. For that matter, our business friends too couldn't come to support us. And the short time, they were not working during the COVID time, so it was a problem for us. So you see, but at the end of the 2020 election, we were able to pull them from 169 to 137 and reduce the gap from 1 million to 500. It showed that with all what they did and all what happened, the parties to remain a very strong force. So having identified all this, we realized that, look, with a little hard work, we could take the seat in 2024. So we did a thorough appraisal of the whole system, and we realized that there must be some focus in Ashanti. We did nationwide auditing of all our branches. For the NDC, a branch is like a polling station. So we did, and for every branch or polling station, we're supposed to have 9 executives. So I remember in 2020, after the 2020 election, I went to Binduri, where I moved from police station to audit our executives there. I went to Kwabri East. I went to Subin. I went to Bosumi Fremu. I went to Fantiakwa North. I went to a lot of places. And my other colleagues also went to a lot of other places. You follow? And we did what we call the branch audit to make sure. Why? Because, and in the process, we realized that we are supposed to have 9 executives in the branch. 9. But you see, if you have 9 executives in the branch, then it should mean that at every police station, you should make a minimum of 9. But there were places in Ashanti where we scored 0. You know, and this all came out in our branch audit and analysis. So it meant that there was some work we have to do, a lot of work we have to do. So we have to come out to regulations, who becomes a branch executives and all that. So we kept it at 4 years. It should be 4 years in the party, and let some sort of interview before you qualify to contest as a branch executive, just to make sure that we get the real NDC members in the various constituencies. So when we did that, then we said no. Ashanti has 47 constituencies, and it's also our program area. So we needed to find a different strategy for Ashanti. So even though Ashanti region is one region, we divided Ashanti region to about 5 regions and treated every sub-region like a region, with every resource that we have for a region to that region, right? So we had 5 sub-regional heads for Ashanti. We are focusing on their various sub-regions. Okay. Now, the other area we needed to look at to make sure that we get our things right was the office of the Director of Elections. In 2020, we had a Director of Election and we had a Director of IT. They were at par. And to some extent, there was no serious coordination. So this time around, we needed to combine the two and make it Director of Election / IT. So he can now supervise the work of the IT, because the IT and the election, they do almost the same thing, but in different ways. And there must be serious coordination.
So by merging that role, yes, that challenge of 2020 was overcome.
Yes. So we did that. So now, after that, then we have to look at the campaign team and other areas. So I must say that is the winning election is not the day or 2 weeks to election, but it's the process leading to election.
2 points. When people say the turnout was low, and again, when we look at the time series, every year there's a change in government, turnout is very low. 2000 turnout was about 61, 2008 turnout was below 70, 2016 turnout was around 63. So this year's turnout about above 60. Some people feel like usually governments change with low turnout because their supporters don't come out. This applies to both parties. What's your response to that?
I must say that, yes, to some extent there was some degree of low turnout. But I must say the low tenant Ashanti is also as a result of the work we did. Because in 2020, when the whole national average was around, let's say, 70% or so, I've forgotten the figure, Ashanti was around the 90s. You see, so you could see the gap. Highly unrealistic. So what can we do to get the real voters to come and vote and maybe block whatever maybe they might have been putting in, right? So yes, that was blocked in addition to the low turnout, and that's what good is. So it's not across the whole country. Yes, there might be some low turnout, but in Ashanti, the percent you've seen is also as a result of the work we did. Yeah.
You said when you saw your 2020 performance, you knew you win 2024.
Yeah.
There was a school of thought that bringing a former president wasn't the best idea. And I'm sure people may have whispered to you that maybe for 2024, you needed a new candidate. Yeah. Why were you sure that repeating Mahama was the right idea?
I was his campaign manager for the 2020, and I knew exactly how he worked. And I knew exactly that. I knew very well that we had a very good candidate. So for me, I wasn't with that school of thought. I believe strongly that with President Mahama, and knowing very well that if he presents himself for the primaries to win, I knew that we were going to win the election. Yeah.
For an experienced politician, even for you to come from 47 to close to 57% is a lot, because that means that the 51 they got is coming down to 41. So they dropped by 10 and you went up by 10.
Yeah.
Another way of looking at it is you came from a deficit of 1 million in 2016 to a surplus of 1.6 million. So that's a 2.6 million swing.
Yeah.
In your political life, have you seen such a swing before? In a Ghanaian campaign?
In the Ghanaian campaign, no. You know, when the people decide to remove you, nothing can stop it. And going around the country, it was obvious. And that's why I call it the People's Democratic Revolution. The word revolution and democratic look something else. But I've coined
the People's Democratic
Revolution. Normally, revolution goes in a different way. But this time, they are doing the revolution in the democratic way.
Wow.
Using the power.
So you knew when you went around that people were going to give you a resounding victory.
Bernard, you see, there were areas that you go and you never see NDC t-shirts from years past. But this time, you have NDC t-shirts, people proudly wearing them and asking for more, right? It's a pointer to the fact that there's some degree of acceptability now.
Wow.
And sometimes we draw a program and we say, look, we're starting from community A and we end at community F in around 6 p.m. We finally end at community F around 2-3 a.m.
Wow.
Why? Because from community A to community B, along the way, the villages around, we don't know who tells them, but they stop us. And His Excellency must talk to them before they allow us to go.
Wow.
Right. So you could see that they just want to listen to him. And as we delay in going to the last community or other communities, the people are still there waiting for us.
So sometimes midnight you are...
Midnight. So a place that we should have been at 6 p.m., 2 a.m. we are there, and the chiefs and people...
They are waiting.
Enormous. You could see. And when we apologize to them, they tell, oh, no, we're happy you have come.
Wow. So there's a way an experienced campaigner can tell if the ground is acceptable.
Yes, because I've done that. I've done that before. And
but let me do some regional analysis. Greater Accra is a region. You've been MP. You've been the chairman of the party and regional minister. But even there, Mahama is giving Bawumia 573,000 gap. Greater Accra has always been a close region. This gap is close to the Ashanti gap.
Yes.
Unprecedented. And in terms of constituencies won, we have 31 confirmed. You won all but 2. So presidential, apart from Trobu and Anyaso to presidential, Mahama won everything. We don't know Dome Kwabinya yet. We don't know Okankwe Central and Ablekuma North. So essentially you won every constituency apart from 2. I mean, Greater Accra.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah. Our plan was that, look, we should retain all the 20 constituencies that we have. And we should be able to get additional 5, which we knew would be difficult, but we're determined to do that. So our calculation was 25 for Greater Accra.
Wow.
But at the end of it,
you undercalculated?
We undercalculated, yes. Yes. You know, before the election, we were right in calculating. But I think that we should have reviewed it after.
As the campaign grew in
because
momentum.
we saw it coming then. That this place will fall, this place will fall. I'll give you a very interesting example. You know, the Afro region, they have 6 constituencies.
Yeah.
And we had 2.
You always win the 2, Esunafo South, Esutifi
Yes,
South.
and they had 4.
They take the 4.
Yeah. But when we went there, we realized that we could take additional 2. And the 2 left, there was a possibility that we could take it. But because we're not very sure, we said, look, we have 4 in our bag. But
so you didn't really concentrate on the Tanon North, which you eventually lost. So if you had considered that, you may have had something.
Maybe. So,
wow.
So with the 4, increasing from 2 to 4 was okay for us. Now let's see whether we can fight for a 5th one, even though we knew, because from the rally and all that is, we didn't see a way clear with that. But the candidate told us he'll win, right? He will win, but of course when
so that's Tano South.
Yes, when the candidate tells you he'll win, yes, you have to encourage him. You have to, but maybe in you are doing your projections based on what we have. Then we got 5. You know.
I look at the parliamentary for Bono.
Yeah.
Of the 3, Bono East is your stronghold. So
Yeah,
it's not
Bono
surprising that you've won 10 and 1 is disputed.
Yeah.
But parliamentary-wise, the only seat, MPP has basically won 1 parliamentary seat in Bono region. That is absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
Did you know that you would win all those seats? You're winning German South, you're winning Sunyani West, Sunyani East.
Yeah.
I mean, that is serious.
Yeah, we're almost sure of Sunyani West and East when we went there.
So the only one MPP has won is German South for parliament.
Yeah.
All the rest NDC has won.
Yeah.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented. And you see, sometimes when we are in government or in power, we tend to believe that we can do anything and go scot-free. I've never believed in that. You know, you are there to serve the people. And you told the people what actually you'll be doing when you get power. Once we're in government, that is it. And we can do anything and go out anything, you know. But this election has portrayed to the whole world that, yes, Ghanaians believe in democracy, and that Ghanaians believe in actually what they want. And Ghanaians believe in accountability. Ghanaians believe in good leadership. So, before the election, we're hearing things like breaking the 8. Breaking the 8 with this performance. I can. Very interesting. How do you break 8 with this performance? But the way they were confidently telling people that they will break the 8. And like our leader said one day, if he had performed like that, he would have packaged himself for re-election. Because it's just that bad. And we know in Ghana that it's just bad. That's why some time ago I was telling a good friend that, and to people like you, the press should have an interest in the work of the various political parties, especially who they package to present as their presidential candidate. You should have an interest. Because any of these 2 major political parties, when they present a candidate, it's a potential president. So you don't wait until the main election. They start analyzing and trying to do a plus or minus. No, I think we should start from their primaries and make sure that any of the 2 gives us a good candidate. So at any point in time, whoever wins, we can have some quality service. Okay. I remember even President Prof was not very much interested in Akufo-Addo becoming a flag bearer. I think you know that. His own friends in the MPP made noise about that before that. Your outfit didn't interrogate this properly and very much. He went through with it. And he came and this is the service he gave all of us. That pensioners must cry for their own savings. My brother.
Let's end with this segment with the North. Because you've been regional minister before, you know the place very well. You went to secondary school there. They won, MPP won 6 constituencies in North, 1 in Savannah, and 3 in Northeast. So when you put the whole thing together, 10 out of the 31, NDC won 20, there's one independent. To the extent that Dr. Bawumia is from Northeast, and that enclave of the country, was this a satisfactory outcome for you? Did you think you would do better? Because there was another pitch about Bawumia coming from the North, and therefore MPP will split the North from the NDC, which was your traditional stronghold. And from 96, MPP had been closing the gap. The North had been closing quite severely to almost 55-45. It used to be 60-30, 60-40. So they've been closing. How do you assess your performance in the North?
You know, the people of the North, they also like quality service. So I quite remember Bawumia made inroads for them in the 2020 as well. Now, but what happened? You know, it started from the 2016, seriously. What happened? They had a very good material in the name of John Mahama, also from the North. But he was the president at that time. He was the president. Now, another Northerner comes and tells them that, no, you vote for me and one child, one chocolate. You vote for me and one district, one dam. And I have to tell you, getting a dam in any community in the North is a breakthrough. So when you come and you tell us that one district, one dam, is a very good campaign message. One constituency, $1 million. Who doesn't want this? Right? So it made some people to shift. Now, having shifted, the man has sat in the chair as the leader of the economic management team. And he couldn't even fulfill the promises that he made. So they have to shift to their old man who has been truthful to them and has been doing what he tells them to do. And that is what is accounting for moving from, what do you call it, the increases in the North for the NPP to the decline in the 2024 election. Yeah.
Final point around this victory. Western region, 15 out of 17. Western North, only one for MPP. Central, you won everything except 4, and then 1 independent. So the whole country, of course, Upper East, Upper West, Volta, Oti, typically goes to NDC.
0.
Eastern region, you even got about 8. I mean, it's serious.
It's serious because when you are in power, the people kept you there and work for them. Don't lord yourself at them. And that's exactly what they were doing. You come out with a complaint, they tell you shut up. And as they tell you shut up, they remind you that they are breaking the 8. So people keep quiet. And, you know, let me be very fair to ourselves. The performance of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government is just because Ghanaians have accepted democracy. I'm telling you, there have been something else in this country for some people. So we thank God.
Era.
I'm telling you, it will be something else. So we should thank God that collectively we have accepted multi-party democracy. And accepting multi-party democracy, we have told ourselves that if we don't want a government, if they perform poorly, I mean, the 4 years will come and we change.
So this is anger that has been.
Yes. So they waited for it and we just pushed them out. Right. That's why I told some friends that any attempt to rob us from this victory, and you force yourself on the seat, you might not be able to form a government. Because you are forming a government of the people who never wanted you. By using the guns or whatever you have to form a government, you will not succeed because the people will chase you out. Because the only, what do you call it, opportunity that they have is the ballot to tell you that go and reorganize yourself, and if possible, you come back for a rematch. And you are forcing yourself on them. That's not possible. So every time I heard Akufo-Addo say, I will not hand over to, I will hand over, I say, what was the man talking about? You see, doesn't know what is happening on the ground. The ground is different from let me pull in the feelings that he has. The ground is quite different, right? And thank God getting to the close end of the election, he said he will hand over to whoever. I think you heard that one too. I believe at that time he saw the reality coming. And the reality is that we can't stop the people's power.
ya pomudi ni agobio Ghana fu ni age if you say ya your local spices na ya fra dia ya sankofa natural spice
me dey go me jollof mu me still ahodoma e ma ne dance
Stanley, the barbecue the go on.
sankofa natural spice and one you 100% natural.
Adofo, mamu ye huge mistake. Sankofa natural spices.
Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. Bet saver, win, even if your bet misses.
Hi, my name is Ochiame Kwame. I live at the plush Leisure Den Symphonic, a real estate property developed by Whaley Properties, the very developers of Vista Del Mare and the beautiful Alphabet City. So come with me to site. Let me introduce you to your new home, a gated community with 24-hour security in the heart of Sakomono. Behind me is going to be Willow Lane, where elegance will meet tranquility. You are going to be greeted with a 4-bedroom ensuite home with an elevator, swimming pool, children's playground, constant electricity, and many more. But wait, it gets even more interesting for early birds like you. You get a whopping $50,000 discount. Yes, I said $50,000 if you purchase between now and the end of this month. So call us now or visit us. Willow Lane, where elegance meets tranquility.
The holiday season is here. Enjoy Piva beverages, the perfect fit for the season. Share the joy, share the cheer, and share the moment. Piva, a taste you will love.
This advert is FDA approved.
Look around. Home also need a makeover. Oh, mine clearly does. So we went to Ashroom and found the Como collection. It had everything we're looking for and more. Matching furniture for the entire home, designed with you in mind.
Where's Como collection? Dressing up is just the breeze. Always ready with a perfect accessory.
A magic dressing mirror. One look and you're ready to face the world. Or at least the kids.
A bed perfect for young men who want
a table that turns into a treasure chest.
And finally, a sofa with this grand TV unit for family time at home.
Head over to any Ashphone store now and discover the new Como collection. Ashphone, feel it, know it.
We're still here on The Point of View. Tonight, we're bringing you both a pictorial and a one-on-one conversation. Joshua Alabi is the campaign manager, or he was the campaign manager for John Mahama. We've already shown you in this first part how the presidential election was won. In this next part, I'll talk about Parliament, because NDC has a 2/3 majority now. Look at what they have. We have 276 seats, 267 determined. Everywhere you see green is NDC, everywhere you see blue is MPP. Where you see red is independent. So there are 4 independents here, 1 in Ashanti, 1 in Eastern, 1 in the North, 1 in the Central. NDC's margin is close to unassailable. You have 276. 276, 2/3 of that is 184. They already have 185. MPP are 78 from our list. To be fair, a lot of the areas left are MPP strongholds. But if it even stays like this for NDC, they have the 2/3. Now, again, quickly to show you how serious this is, let's start from 2012, okay? Now, in 2012, this was the division. NDC won 148, MPP 123. with 4 independents. So it looks like a nice split, okay? 1, 4, 8, 1, 2, 3. So maybe 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5. 2016 was MPP's best performance. All right, now look at that. 169. So they gained quite a bit. They gained 32, and NDC just got 106. Okay, this is 2016. Now look at 2020. 2020 was the so-called hung parliament, where you have 137, 137, 1 independent. So this is where we've come from. This is where we've come from. Now, think about where we've come from to where we've gotten to. From 137, somebody's gone to 185. So almost 50 more. Okay, so NDC has gained 48 as we speak. MPP has lost close to 60. We spoke about what this means. So this means that they have a decisive majority in parliament that can do a lot of things. So Joshua Alabi will talk to us a bit about what this parliamentary victory means for whether Mahama would govern by consensus or he's a new autocrat. Because with a 2/3 majority, there's a lot you can do as a president. So that's the focus. And also, what type of people will he appoint? Will Mr. Alabi himself accept an appointment in this government? All of these and more in the next part of the interview. We're still reflecting on the aftermath of election 2024. Joshua Alabi, Prof, who was managing the flag bearers campaign, is in here with us talking about the victory. 2/3 majority in parliament, again, it seems unprecedented.
Yeah.
What does NDC hope to do with such a big majority in parliament?
You know, once the people decided on 2/3 majority for the NDC, it means that they want us to use our numerical strength wisely and also use it in their interest, right? It means that they've tested just slight majority, hung parliament, and they believe this time we should test this to see what this can do for all of us. Some people believe that when you have 2/3 majority, then it's going to be a rubber stamp parliament. But I don't believe in that. I don't believe that. I don't believe in that because it is only 4 years you have to go back to the people to account for what you have done. So whatever you do, you should have the people in mind. And you tell yourself that in 2.5 years' time, you may start another campaign. And what are you going to tell them? And how did you use the 2/3 majority? Now, in our manifesto, we had a lot of programs that we want to implement. And of course, the people accepted that through the votes that they gave us. So it means that we should do everything possible to give that to them. So when any of the programs that require parliamentary approval, they expect us to use the 2/3 majority that they voted for, the program that they voted for, to get these programs through. And I'm sure that this is what they'll be expecting from us, not to use that to intimidate or to always rubber stamp what the executive brings to parliament.
You were in the parliament of 97 to 2001.
Yeah.
When you look at the way parliament works, how different is the situation then? Because that was the second parliament in the Fourth Republic. Yeah. The 93 one was the first, and there was essentially no opposition.
Yeah.
In this parliament, you had close to 2/3, but not much, not really 2/3. This 97. Based on your experience there, what do you think this parliament should do to acquit itself correct before the Ghanaian people?
Sometimes you might think that when we are strong, you should use that to bully. But I think that when we are strong, you still need to carry everybody along. So there must be some degree of consensus building. We should spread out to, our colleagues at the other side to make sure that, I don't think they've come to parliament because they've come for themselves, but they come to parliament for the entire nation and for their, the people they represent. So as a team, and as a parliament, which is one parliament, anything that comes from parliament should come from all of them. And there must be a series of discussion. When, during my time, we had absolute majority, yes, that's true. But we had a parliament where consultation was at very high. I quite remember I was on the business committee of parliament, where we had the likes of G.H. Mensah, Nana Akufo-Addo, G.H. Owusu-Achampong, and the discussions there were more of relationship building than just imposed. So we just go to parliament, read the business of the day, of the weekend. It's quite something that everybody accepts. I want to see this parliament use this strength, right, to carry everybody along and make sure that this mandate that the people have given us, we should use it wisely, because in 4 years' time, we will go back to account.
You've used the word consensus twice in the past two answers.
Yeah.
The president-elect has also said he will hold a national economic dialogue to discuss the true state of the economy. He's also hinted in an interview with VOA that on education, he will need to build consensus on how to solve. Should we take it that even though Mahama has such a resounding mandate, consensus is going to be one of the key words for his approach to governance?
Yeah, there must be consensus, because I'm not a lawyer, but I think some time ago when I read some law in the 70s, my business courses, I read something about oppression of the minority, where the minority could be right, but then the majority could use that to push them down. I don't think that in all cases the minority is wrong. I don't think so. So there are times that the minority too have very, very solid points, and the points must be factored into decision making. So I agree with His Excellency President John Mahama that there must be more of consensus building. We all know that we have problems with education. We can't run away from that. For the purpose of campaign, people could just say anything. But the reality on the ground is that, especially with the free HSS, I mean, it's a crash. We have to admit that. But you see, you cannot get up and you tell yourself that, yes, we have won to test majority, so we are going to impose what we want to do to the people. There were people who are in MPP, but they had their awards in school. We have parents who have interest in that. And I think that we have various institutions who have interest in that. How can we bring all of them together to tell ourselves that, look, this is what we have done? And for that matter, this is, can we discuss what we have to do to bring this in right? Ideas will come up, and at the end of it, we all agree on the idea and then define a blueprint to move forward. He did that when he was the president with the Senchi, what do you call it? And it was beautiful, and that's what the package that he took to the IMF. It wasn't an NDC package. Okay? So I think that this time around, he should do that. And in doing that, one good thing about that is that every leader must try as much as possible to carry the people along. Right? You must be able to communicate your vision to the people and where you want to take them to. But you cannot communicate that to them when they are not involved in the decision making to that decision. So when you communicate to them, then it means that collectively we own it. They own it, you own it. And all of us must make sure that we get there. And that's one very important thing about the consensus building, collective ownership.
You are very strong on leadership. From UPSA, we know leadership is one of your favorite subjects. I have two leadership questions for you. The first one, you've worked with Jerry John Rawlings, you've worked with Mills, you've worked with John Mahama. How different are their leadership approaches?
Everybody has a style, everybody has a style. And if your style works for you, fine, works for you, fine. Rawlings has a style because his background for the military, and sometimes a little bit pushy. You have to get there. I work with Mills as a board chairman somewhere, but not directly under him. But he was a very cool guy, and he has his also cool style where he believes that, look, as a lawyer, things must be done with the law. Move on. President Mahama also has his style. He has his style, and I see more of somebody who likes to build relationship leader, where he needs to understand himself and see where you all move together. Okay, so he's not that type of leader who will say, I say, let's do this and that. Let's discuss and agree that this is what we have to do. And then he has a leader.
So Rawlings is more obey before complain. Soldier. And you work directly because you were a minister under Rawlings.
Yeah, I was a minister under Rawlings, yes. I worked under
You were his regional minister for 2 critical reasons.
Yes.
He was very popular in the north. He used to dress like you.
Batakali.
Yeah. Why did they like him so much?
You see, before Rawlings, it was almost impossible for anybody to agree that you can wire the national grid to the north. But Rawlings did that. It was impossible. Nobody could believe that. Rawlings did that. And almost every village and every hamlet got electricity. For the people in the north, that was a breakthrough for them. And because you know what light means, not only because you want to use light in the evening, but it's a source of power for work. And for that matter, people who can now increase productivity wherever they work, which requires energy. So that was key. Royce was very much interested in the eradication of brewery ulcer, which was also... So he had time for them. He was with them, he slept with them. Sometimes in the evening, if it was early, he comes down, he moves into the communities. That was his style, right? Rollins would go to the gutter and make sure that we clean the gutter. That was his style. Another leader will lead people to clean the gutter. He will not end up, but he will lead people to clean the gutter. That's his style. The bottom line is that are we all achieving something? Yes, let's move on.
How different is Mahama 1 that we saw between 2012 and 2016 and the Mahama 2 we are about to see between 2024 and 2028?
Mahama 1 did his best, we all know. We saw what he did, and unfortunately for us, in trying to go on to the second term to continue with what he wants to do, some promises from the MPP pushed him out of government. He didn't go to sit, but he sat behind and also continued as a politician, and not just a politician, but a frontline politician. So that gave him the opportunity also to do a thorough appraisal of himself, what he did, and then also do a thorough appraisal of what the Akufo-Addo government also have been doing. So in between that, he will see that he will be able to know the gaps between his and them. And he will also be able to know some of his own weaknesses when he was the president and what he thinks he can do better. So Mahama too is coming in with new ideas, very fresh, having done thorough appraisal of himself and what is happening. Is coming out something fresh and something new to lead us. I see better quality coming out from Mahama too. I see more quality leadership coming in. Because for me, if you give me the opportunity to go back to UPSA, I think that I will do better than I did.
So having a second bite at the cherry is critical for you?
Yeah. It's critical for us because it's the first time that we have a leader in Ghana who is going to come back. And we also see what that will do for us as against 8 straight. You know, I have a personal principle in life when it comes to teaching in a university, for example. Okay, when I hear that somebody has done his first degree, it didn't work, straight to second degree, he didn't work, and straight to masters,
PhD,
straight to PhD. If I want to employ a teacher and I have somebody who did his first degree, he worked, did the second degree, he worked, I may go for him for that practical aspect for the students. And then later on I'll advise him that now go and do your PhD and come back. That is me. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. You know, he's been given a second opportunity, a break. He has studied the system in Ghana, weighed that against what he did. And with all humility, I'm very confident he's coming with something better than he did. And if he's coming with something better than they did, and we all agree that he did very well the last time, then obviously we know what he's coming out with.
So judgment will be better because of experience. But we are told the pressure, you have almost 190 MPs.
Yeah.
He's saying he's going to have only 60 ministers.
Yeah.
So we're already seeing a lot of lobbying. So there would also be disappointments when you have a massive victory. A lot of people want to be rewarded, and yet he promised the people of Ghana a lean. In fact, if you go through his social contract, constitute the leanest and most efficient government under the Fourth Republic in its first 90 days. So an impossible task of a small government with a massive pool, that's going to be challenging.
Challenging, but I think that he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he must be able to do that. You know, before any member of parliament, before you present yourself to contest for election, you already knew that Mama will be going for 60 ministers. So there's a possibility that you might be a minister and you not be a minister. And for me, I always fall to the low level when it comes to planning for my life, right? So there's a possibility that you will not be a minister, but you are an MP. You have something to contribute, so you will contribute. When another opportunity comes for you, you may be moved to another level, you know. Because it's not only MPs who are going to be ministers. We have people outside who also work very well. And some of them will be ministers and some of them will not be ministers. And like I've said somewhere, you see, the whole thing, I see the president like a football coach, right? Where we can have a lot of players. And maybe the number 10, you may have about 5 people who are very good at number 10. But depending upon the formula that you want to play, one number 10 might be more suitable in that formula than another one. That does not mean that number 10 is no good. You follow? Another match, different formula, you may go for that number 10 and put him and you drop this one. So if everybody is good, but depending upon the formula that he knows how to fix his ministers to achieve the results that he wants to achieve. And I believe that if you are lobbying and giving him pressure, we just allow him to make his decision.
The state of the country
he'll be responsible for that decision.
Economically is tough. The IMF this week said that Ghana's economic recovery is fragile.
Yeah.
You know the economic situation we've been in since 2022. Inflation went to the mid-50s, exchange rate very low. So we are in a very difficult economic time.
Yeah.
Can the NDC turn it around in 4 years? Because that's really the time he has.
You see, everybody is saying that Ghana will need about 10, 15 years to recover. That's what people are saying. Which means that you might not be able to do everything within 4 years. But the people must see signs of good recovery. That is, the foundation must be there. If they don't see sign of good recovery, then that's where the problem will be. You follow? This time, I'll give you a typical example. When I was Vice Chancellor of EPSA, and I asked the students to pay some fees. They resisted it, but I was able to push it through for them to pay because government was not bringing the money, and we need to enhance our own campus and our own way of learning there. So I needed to push them to pay something. So I pushed it, but they were against it. But after the first year, where they were still making a noise, second year, when they saw the foundation that I built coming up, they started throwing down. You follow? Because they could now see future. So the whole thing is about seeing future. You see that even though it's difficult for the person, he has set the base for the development, and I'm seeing it. So it came to a point where the first student hosted that at the UPSA. The students themselves met and told themselves that every student should contribute an amount to support me to build that hostel, which was not part of their fees.
On their own volition?
Yeah, which was not part of it. If I had suggested that to them the first time I started the reforms, they would have slapped me. But they themselves. So you see, when people see that you build the necessary foundation for growth, they themselves will voluntarily support you to achieve that. But when they don't see the foundation and they see looting and grabbing again, then there might be a problem for us. So my appeal to people who are lobbying, then you should lobby with a motive then. You should know that, like Mama said, we are going in there to work for the people.
But you concede that the promises you made will be very tough. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Within your first 90 days, you say you will scrap e-levy, COVID levy, 10% levy on betting winnings and emission levy.
Yeah.
You also review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported into the country. At the same time, you implement a no academic fee for all first-year students, free tertiary education for persons with disability, free sanitary pad for female students. You are in an austerity program under IMF. So the monies they are giving is dwindling. You've promised a lot of things, and you're also going to scrap taxes. That's a very tight fiscal corner to put yourself as an economist.
Yeah, when you have some sort of financial discipline in your operations, you can reduce costs somewhere and do other things. I mean, I've forgotten the figures for the budget for the presidency, but what I know is that under the manual regime, it is going to come down drastically to support some of these things. You follow? And that is big money. When you go and check the budget for the presidency, it's big money. And we've done a lot of costing, except that our interview it was impromptu. I would have brought some figures. We've done a lot of costing, and we know we can do that based on the what do you call it, the financial and fiscal discipline that we are going to push our members to do. So it's just discipline. Leadership to succeed is discipline. It's discipline. You have planned something, and you should have a system to make sure that it gets you there. So anybody who is to implement something and it goes with his own plan against that to make money, then it just must be out of the way.
People have spent money. You needed money to campaign. People say the problem with corruption is that people who come into power owe so many people. Giving of contracts, procurement becomes a challenge. As you said, in 2020, you gave people 15,000 and NPP had a lot of money. In 2024 as well, you needed money. And the businesses that supported you will need contracts. So how are you going to convince Ghanaians that you are not going to fall to the same temptation of having to repay those who helped you win financially?
You see, there are different forms of support and interest. You know, for example, when we met with the Abosokai traders, they had an interest in we looking at the foreign exchange, the taxes, and all that. And for them, even if any of them supported us financially, his interest is just this policy to kick this government out. So I will be in the position to implement this policy, which will enhance their business. So it's not every businessman who supports a party who thinks that he needs contract, but to create a enabling environment for his business to thrive. And I tell you, majority of those who supported us come from this group of people.
Wow.
They want them out so that business. You meet people where they are businessmen and the business have collapsed. So when you come, what are you going to do?
We'll come back and wrap up with two key questions for Professor Joshua Alabi. For the first time, we have a president who doesn't have a re-election to think about. What would that mean for governance? Will there be tension between the party and the presidency? And what about he himself, with his experience in leadership for the past 3 decades and a half? What role does he see he play in this new government? Stay with us.
I asked him to buy me original politics.
Hey, please don't make mistake. So Papa, open the back man. And you politics no girl. Hey, Papa.
Papa, can Ropo?
The politics is original, the first and the best.
What is? Ukota also per dear acrobat to use me.
Politics, yes.
The holiday season is here. Enjoy POV beverages, the perfect fit for the season. Share the joy, share the cheer, and share the moment. POV, a taste you will love.
This advert is FDA approved.
Tell me, is this thing on now? I've been working long like a marathon now. Tying up words, making them a bomb now. Tell me, we too me alone now. I got a message when they put it in a song now. I'll see you later, all the haters got it wrong now. We're touching the lightning, we're coming alive, yeah. We're feeling inside, yeah. We got the power.
Tank 300, where power meets elegance. Call us on 0501 772222 or 0501 773333.
When on campus and not well, I worry no more. Thanks to Dragnet. With the Dragnet app, I can chat with a pharmacist anytime for my medications, and they are delivered to me right here on campus.
I am a trader. If I need drugs, I cannot leave my goods and visit the pharmacy. All I need to do is click on the call feature on the Dragnet app and I speak with the pharmacist. The drugs are delivered to me right here. Dragnet, ahotoswo papa.
As a businessman, moving around to search for my medication could be very frustrating. But now, with the Dragnet app, I'm able to upload all my prescriptions and have them delivered to me wherever I am. The Dragnet app also allows me to order refills for my mother to treat her chronic illness. Dragnet delivers all the medications to her on time. It's so reliable and convenient. Download the Dragnet app from the Google Play Store or App Store. Dragnet, your #1 online pharmacy.
Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. Bet saver, win, even if your bet misses.
We're still talking to Professor Joshua Alabi, who managed the flag bearers campaign for election 2024 ahead of a very difficult 4 years, everybody admits, for John Mahama, because the country really voted for him. I have two quick questions for you before we wrap up. We've seen party-government tensions. We saw it under Kufuor, Haruna Iseku, Kufuor time. It's repeated itself. In this unique case, Mahama doesn't have a re-election to fight, but I'm sure NDC wants 8 years. As an experienced politician, you can tell that there are already going to be issues. You have a strong chairman and a pretty decent general secretary too. So the party is not weak. The chairman campaigned for across the country too. So do you admit that there could be tensions in the president trying to deliver on his 4-year mandate to leave his legacy and the party wanting to do different things, including keeping foot soldiers and party members happy? Sometimes those things are intense, you know this.
Yeah, I know, but you see, the president is the leader of the party. And the manifesto of the party, the manifesto as we package to the people, is the manifesto of the party. And he's leading it. So I don't see tension coming out of this where we have collectively agreed on a manifesto that he should lead. Right? Because even presidents who go for 8 terms, in their second term, they don't have any election to come. So there's still a time that you may have to leave. So let's take it that Mahama has 8 terms and he's finished 4 terms, 4 years. 8 years and he's finished 4 years. It's the same as Nanado after the first term. Now I'm going for a second term and it's only 4 years. So the type of tension that we talk of will be the same tension in that particular situation. You follow? But we have a very solid party, an understanding leadership, and we all know and understand who the leader is. It is when you don't understand the leader, you don't even want to appreciate that he can be a good leader. That's why you create unnecessary tension. We shall allow him to flow. We said this is our manifesto. Lead this, and let's get power. And you lead us to implement the manifesto. So I don't see any executive member bringing another program from outside the manifesto that he wants the flag bearer to implement. It is a collective thing, and we're all going to move as a group. Okay.
There's a view that some of the things Mahama wants to do and ought to do, the NDC party may not agree. Because not only did he win with the party's mandate, but he also built a coalition, middle-class people, organized labor. He met various groups. Civil society. If you look at his policies on education, you can see the handwriting of a lot of civil society.
Yes.
Sometimes the views of the middle class and the civil society can be in tension with what the party people want. This is what I'm trying to say.
You see, before we started the campaign, there was what Mahama did with the party, and that's all the tour that he did to collect views for the manifesto. It wasn't Mahama alone who went round. The party went round. So all of us sat down after we came to look at the various issues raised by the various civil societies and organized groups before we package our manifesto. So I strongly believe that with what you have, you know, if you are in an organization and we have regulations, right? You all need to follow the regulation if you agree on that. If you don't follow the regulation, then you are a rebel.
So who is leading this, the president or the chairman?
The president is the leader of the party. John Mahama is the president and the leader of the party. That is our constitution. We kept it there. The national chairman becomes the leader in cases where we don't have, what do you call it, a flag bearer. Then he becomes the leader, and we all agree that he is the leader. Once we get a flag bearer, he becomes the leader. If the flag becomes a president, he is the leader. If we had lost the election, the national chairman would have been the leader by now.
Until you choose a new flag bearer.
So it is, we as a group, this is what we have defined for ourselves, and that's how we have to move. And
where do you see yourself? You are a vice chairman of the party.
Yes.
You've chaired at the regional level. You've been minister in previous administrations. Yes. You've helped the man to win.
Yes.
So are you going to help him to govern?
Like I said earlier, the man is like a football coach, and he knows where to place everybody to achieve the results that we all want. So we allow him to flow, to choose. So wherever he places me, he thinks I can help him achieve what he wants to do. I'll gladly serve.
So you are not against taking a role in his government?
I'm not against taking a role, and there are different rules. There are different rules. Yeah.
Because some could say you could also be ripe for a position in the party too. Because in government, the party needs strong anchors to lead it. Versus working in government.
We have a lot of strong people in the party, both in government and in the party. So you can be anywhere. If I'm not in the party leadership, there are strong people. If I'm not in government, there are strong people.
Are you lobbying?
I've said this several times that I'm not very good at that throughout my life, honestly. I'm not very good at that. I strongly believe that leaders must be capable of identifying what do you call it, the talents that they want and people they want to help them achieve that. And I've always advised friends and people who want me to mentor them that we have different groups of people who rise to the top. Some can rise to the top but go around lying about people. And if you don't take care, you have a leader who buys into that, they will rise to that level. Some can rise based on their principle and quality work. Yes. So you should be who you are. If you think that somebody is rising because he's a good lobbyist or he goes to lie or he goes to say something bad about people and that's why he's rising, if you decide to follow him, then you are going to join the queue. It's better than you that game. And you will not succeed. So be just who you are. And whatever comes your way as a result of who you are, you go on with it.
Should the president focus more on youthful, fresh ideas or experience?
Both.
What's the blend? What kind of blend?
Both. You see, the youth have a lot of ideas. I'm telling you. They have a lot of ideas. So when you have a lot of youth working with you with about 2 or 3 experienced people in the group, the experience is there to fine-tune what they have and then you move on, right? So for example, in the group of 10, 2 experienced people and 8, I have nothing against that. Because they have time, they can walk, they go to places you can go, and they come out with very, 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 very good ideas. Managers, I believe, are not people to be seen to be carrying blocks. Then you say this man is an effective manager or what? You follow? Managers use their experience and knowledge to lead. And you get the people to do. So me as a manager, I allow people to do your work and I just give the necessary advice and guidance for us to move to the next level. Right? Some people believe that if you're a manager, you should be saying to be here, there. No, you collapse. You can't do that. You have young men who are very good and they can do that for you easily. All is to shaping the route, guide them, lead them to achieve that. And you'll be a better manager than a manager who wants to do everything by himself.
Some are predicting 2 things. Yeah. That MPP will have challenges with dealing with the electoral defeat and that fault lines will emerge. But there's another school of thought that says in addition to that, the NDC too will face a serious fight for Mahama's succession. And those two make 2028 a very interesting prospect. How do you advise your party to deal with choosing his successor as flag bearer?
The constitution is clear. If you want to be a president, it's clear. So that one, if you want to be a flag bearer of the party, you should be qualified to do that, take into consideration what the constitution says. That is number one. Everybody will have his interest in life, and you might not be the one to stop it through what do you call it, trying to guide people. No, I believe that people who want to contest for any election in the party should be allowed to. So it's possible that after Mahama there will be about 20 people. Allow them to flow, but the constitution says that the first two may go for a runoff. You follow? So after a runoff we have one, and after that one we all move. You follow? Mahama contested, he won, we all moved. No. So if the constitution is not clear, then you may have a problem because people might use their discretion to decide on things. But it is very, very clear. And once it's clear, if 30 people, let them campaign and run. That is me. When they campaign and run, and you don't have what do you call it, any of the candidates having the 50% plus one vote, it means the first and second will have to go for a runoff. After the runoff, it's only one. One by one. So what do you have to do? You follow the other one. The only thing that worries parties is when people see competition as resistance to your interests, right? Some people believe that if they want to compete for something, nobody should come in. And for that matter, when they get what they want, then the rest of you who competed should be. That is the only what do you call it, problem that may arise, and I think that we should be able as a party to correct that. Else, I don't see anything wrong with competition. I don't see anything wrong.
Thank you for talking to us. I wish you good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice talking to you.
We're talking to Professor Joshua Alabi, who managed the flag bearer of NDC and now President-elect John Mahama's campaign. He's relaxed, looking forward to a busy 4 years. The mandate is big, but so is the expectation. We wish NDC well. Thank you for watching tonight's edition of The Point of View. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. So that was Joshua Alabi earlier in the day speaking to us from his residence, reflecting on some very serious numbers, a decisive presidential victory, and a comprehensive parliamentary victory, and what this means for whether they can even deliver. We hope you've learned something and you've enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Get ready for the ultimate celebration of the year, the Situation All White Christmas Party 2024. This Christmas Eve, join us at the Situation All White Christmas Party for a night of unforgettable vibes. Date 24th December 2024. Time 8 p.m. Location The Underbridge, East Legon. Expect nothing but pure magic as we light up the night with incredible performances from Keche, the hitmakers who know how to get you moving. Isakede, Ghana's Soul Master, with melodies that will take you to another world. A Chinchin Band, a live performance experience like no other. DJ Mingo, the party maestro, keeping the beats flowing all night. I've done it best, bringing the energy to keep the crowd jumping. And MOG, leading us in spirit-filled worshiping style. Dress code all white. Let's shine together in style. It's going to be a night to remember, full of music, dance, and festive spirit. Don't miss out on the hottest party of the season, the party that shuts down all parties. Call 0205-973-973 for table reservations and get ready to party. It's going to be lit at the Underbridge. The Situation All White Christmas Party 2024 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 City FM and proudly sponsored by Carlsberg Beer, Kiss Drinks, Series, Bell Ice, Verve Duvernay, Bushmills Irish Whiskey, and Blue Jeans Energy Drink.
a busy day